Hello, I'm Dale from the British Bushcraft School, and today I'm going to give you some tips on survival. So I'm going to talk about how to survive in the wild. There are four broad areas that wilderness survival falls into, and they come normally in this order: shelter, water, fire and food. If you think about it, in some situations, such as when it's very cold, very windy, very wet, without shelter, you could succumb to hypothermia and even die in a very short space of time. So shelter is generally very important. It could be as simple as finding a cave or even getting in the lee of a tree out of the wind. You can obviously go into more complicated shelter types, using tarpaulins, tents, even natural built shelters. But the main thing is you need to keep yourself out of the wind, and you need to keep yourself out of the rain and warm as well. So you need something insulating, something windproof and something waterproof. From shelter, next thing you need is water. Obviously a lot of water in the wild can be contaminated, so you may need fire to purify the water, but first of all you need to know where that water source is, so that definitely comes next in the order. You need to know where you're going to get it. It may be from a stream, it may be from a river, from a small lake. You may even have to dig a well, sort of an Indian well they call it, where you find some low lying ground where the ground's quite damp. You find yourself a digging stick and you dig down to get the water from the water table. Next step is fire. You need fire for cooking food, to give you light at night. You even use it for craft purposes, making glues, boiling up plant fibres to make cordage, and of course purifying the water. Last of all is food. You can actually survive for quite a long time without food. Your body will go into a state called ketosis after a while, where it starts to metabolize itself. But initially you'll use your blood sugars and the energy stored within your muscles before your body starts to convert its own fat and its own muscle into energy. But you can survive for quite a long time. There have been accounts of people surviving up to 40 days without eating. But of course it all depends on your level of activity, the climate you're in. In a colder climate you're going to consume calories far, far quicker. You can obtain food by trapping, wild edible plants, and the main thing is that you'll need to work out some way of storing these foods as well. It depends on where you are in your survival situation and what time of year it is, because it varies from season to season what's available, and you really do need to know your surroundings. You also need to know the nature and habits of the animals that you're living around, so that you'll be able to track them, lay traps for them. Also there's fishing as well, so there's a whole skill base you need to be able to survive in the wild.